This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock.
Something wrong or what?
Get this meeting started. Would everyone please rise for the pledge and invocation?
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for all the many blessed things that you've given us. Nice rain that helped us build our water supplies up. Oh Lord, we pray again for peace throughout the world. Be with each and every one of us as we go through the daily operations of the town. Guide us in the right manner that benefits not only the town, but the town residents too. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, before we get started on the agenda, I'd like to make a little change. Since we have a speaker here with us from the National Pike Festival, we'd like to move that up underneath Brad for the treasurer's report before we normally have our guests. That's okay with the council?
Fine.
Okay. Review and approval of minutes, meeting minutes from the public hearing and regular minutes on February 12th, plus their workshop minutes on February 26th. Does anybody have any corrections or changes to them?
I think Mary Lee and I have made one note about it was Fulton Bank, not Middletown.
It was
Bank.
Fulton, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you got the other.
Yep,
errors or-
yes.
I would just like to change that one motion to 4-0-2, because we abstained, we didn't really go.
Correct. Yes, I got that too. So it was Fulton Bank.
Yeah, it was Fulton, I knew it wasn't Middletown Valley, but it wasn't sure. And also that I voted no to dissolve the public safety commission.
Correct.
Got that right.
Yes, I got that.
Any other corrections or additions? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the changes?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes with corrections. David.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Treasurer's report.
Okay. So we have a balance right now in the general fund as of the end of February, $2,540,616.41. Water fund has a balance at the end of February of $678,965.71. And the sewer fund has a balance at the end of February, $374,835.40. Our CDs that we have currently are all town CDs, town investment monies that we have between Fulton, Middletown, and Wells Fargo. At the end of the month, it was a total of $2,295,530. Looks like, I'm sorry, $2,295,148.39. Sorry about that. It's okay. As far as the other accounts, we have the restricted funds money market at Middletown Valley with a balance of $2,593,266.83. We have our American Rescue Plan Act funds that's being held at Middletown Valley Bank for $2,391,349.94. We also have the water fund user fee money market account with a balance of $531,762.73. And then we have our sewer fund user fee money market account with a balance of $102,14.25. And you will notice there in the user fees for the water fund that we did bring back some of that money that we received in reimbursements from ARC that we took from the ARPA funds of $343,617.52. So that we stay solvent there because we still have the ongoing project with the dewatering press down at the sewer plant. That is all of the accounts. And then I had one other thing, but I'll wait until we do the treasury report.
We have a motion accept the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second,
Second.
have a motion and a second, to accept the treasurer's report as presented. Any questions, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstaining, motion carries.
Okay, and then the other thing I'd like to bring to the council, I know we asked for the 500,000, the loan to the sewer fund the other month. We're gonna need an additional 500,000 or a total of 1 million to keep the sewer fund solvent while we pay these bills for the dewatering press to get that project finished. This again is a very short term, probably 3 months, 4 months max, till we get the funds back and we'll reimburse the general fund. But I need an additional 500,000.
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion, yes.
So we have a motion on the floor to lend the sewer fund $500,000, which will go towards the dewatering press project, which is coming along pretty good right now, right, Pete?
Yep, just hoping to start people first weekend.
Right. That's great. Let us know, because I like to get a hold of Guy Wittenberg from Tri-County Council. He likes to come down, take some pictures and everything. Appreciate that, because they gave us some money towards ARC and Tri-County Council.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing that.
Question,
Yes, got a question?
I was working on something today with respect to these grants. And is this something that we want to show in the budget in the next couple of years about these grant fundings and the reimbursements and such? I've got a little scheme worked up, because right now we're just blowing money from the general fund and that sort of thing. But I think we need to show that stuff in the budget going forward.
Well, now, it's not a loan, so, right, it's not really a grant. I mean, we're hoping to pay the loan back by the end of June 30th. So
Yes.
Yeah.
hopefully it'll all be a wash in the year, but, right?
But just-
Yes.
just-
Yeah.
just in the-
Yeah,
just-
yeah, if we were actually granted and getting it, I agree, it needs to be in the budget.
We also discussed in the last, excuse me, in the last budget meeting, we had doing grants as a separate category. So I do think we are gonna do that.
I think we should have drilled down a little bit.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, the same, motion carries. Okay, under guests, we have one from National Pike Festival. Can you come up front?
Yeah, I'll just stand right here.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
We don't bite.
Okay.
We don't bite.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council of Boonsboro. I'm Chad with the National Pike Festival, Secretary and Treasurer. First option or first item that I would like to ask is for use or the use of the facilities in the park to end the National Pike Days at Schaefer's Park, with the understanding that we need to stay clear of the baseball diamond as well.
Our board has no problem with it.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yeah.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. You got it.
Thank you. The second item of business that I would like to ask is, again, for assistance from the Boonsboro Police Department from the stoplight there at AT&T, where the Weiss, going back towards the Weiss, they always meet as we crest that hill with the deputy sheriffs. There's usually one on each side or one at that intersection cresting. 2 years ago, it fell through the cracks. We had people intervening. It didn't fall through the cracks on his part. It was on my part.
We
I
took
was-
care of it this last time, right?
Yeah, last year was good. The 2 years ago, it fell through. I was undergoing chemotherapy. And at the same time of trying to get everything lined up, I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So that fell through the cracks. But 2 years ago, yeah. Last year was perfect. If we could do that again this year, that would be great, Chief. Thank you. And then the third thing that I would like is to ask the town of Boonsboro for $500 again from the hotel motel tax to cover the cost of transportation for our participants. We normally have a school bus or a enterprise rental van that will pick us up at the ending location and take us back to the starting location. Last year, you guys granted 5 from your hotel motel. We were hoping to have assistance for that again this year for the transportation.
Is it there, Kim?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion that we sponsor the $500 using the hotel motel tax funds for the national budget.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to grant the $500 to the hotel motel tax again this year for the wagon train festival. Any questions or discussion?
And that's probably something we should put in the budget since we've done it now twice.
Yeah, just put it in.
That might have been.
Now, I think just the horse ride, right, or something.
Yes.
Budget
For the budget.
Right, for that day, for budget line item.
If-
Maybe we need to-
Also, if you guys need an invoice, like, paper, black and white, like, transaction, like other towns.
Necessary.
No, I usually just make one.
Okay, see, like Hagerstown, I have to create up an invoice and give to them. So I just wanted, if you guys need anything.
If Kim needs that.
Kim takes care of that for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor and town council. One last thing.
We got a vote.
Yeah, we have a motion. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, the same, same. Now you got her.
One last thing I would like to bring to the mayor and town council tonight. Between me and Stevie, the president, we've been discussing the past 2 or 3 years how Boonsburg gets the short end of the stick on the National Pipe Festival. We go through Clear Spring, we go through Hagerstown, we go through Funkstown, but it's like, oh, hey, Boonsburg, we're only gonna go through 0.25 miles and stop at the park. It's too late for me to facilitate this year with the road permits through the highway administration and state police and everybody, but next year, I want you guys to think about it, and I'm talked to Kim about it, but coming through the town of Boonsburg. I thought about coming through the town of Boonsburg and going through the neighborhood on the other side of town where the circles are. I don't know the street names, and looping back around to the park. However, doing that, we would not go to the main entrance of the park. We would be entering the back side of the park. Another route that we could do is we could come through town and make a left here at the light and go down one of the alleys and come through the main entrance of the park. However, it's just been in discussion for years, and we want to make it happen. We feel that, Boonsburg gets the short end of, the stick and gets left out. Pretty much we just come up the hill, crest the hill, and turn into the park, and, we stay harnessed there, for 45 minutes or an hour, but it's like, hey, we're here, and then we're loading, goodbye, that kind of thing. So, I would like to put that on your guys' table and see what your thoughts are.
One year you did start in Boonsboro. You started out here off of 67 and came through town and went to Funkstown instead of starting in Clear Spring and then into Boonsboro. You ended it.
Yeah, that was
a mess, wasn't
long
it?
time.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, and I also heard that it was really a mess. And that's why you went back to the original.
I mean, I think the route that we have is good. What I'm asking for you guys to kind of table for the future is that instead of coming to the park and making that right and going into the park, we would come down through town to include the town of Boonsburg, because we go through Clear Spring, Funkstown, Hagerstown. We would like to somehow or another, and I'm not familiar with the roads or the back roads, but somehow we would like to come through town and include, Boonsburg in the National Pipe Festival, not just out of the park.
When you leave, where do you go? How do you leave Boonsboro?
When we leave.
They just load up.
Right up on the trail.
Yeah, when we come into the park, we're done
Okay.
for that day. So it would only add say a 45 minutes or an hour, instead of ending at 12, we would end at, say, 1 next year. But, you know, it's,
You also could turn here square and go down and go in
the only problem I have with that is it's too,
too narrow.
it's, for the right-hand turn, it's too narrow for the wagons.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking-
Mount Nebo Valley, but that's too
That would be
narrow.
too narrow too.
I mean, if you had someone sitting up top of the hill that could, you know, if we did have to swing out to stop, to swing in, we could do that. I mean, just,
Yeah, I
We're
really
just seeing this around. I don't know, we gotta shut down that.
I mean, let's put together. Well, that's what, and that's a third option I was gonna say, is go down through Boonsburg to the circle, make the circle and come back through town and then make your left into your park. And that would include you guys.
You probably have to have traffic officer out at the circle, because
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Obviously, you know, next year, not this year, I would coordinate with them and then, you know, on my end, I coordinate with the state police and the sheriffs. So, you know, the sheriffs, they would have additional deputies down there. But that's just something I wanted to put out on the table. for
I
next year.
appreciate you wanting to include us, and we
Yeah,
have
we
probably
appreciate
next year, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, I only have like 6 weeks or, you know, 7 weeks, and I have to have the road permit in 90 days before. So, but for next year, you know, if someone wants to get in contact with Kim or vice versa, I would like to, you know, include you.
Sure, we appreciate that.
And we did up the budget for the wagon train event.
Oh, okay,
So we're good.
okay, good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you have a good day.
You too.
Public comments. Who we have down there on the sheet?
She was it, I believe.
No. One of. Yes, you state your name and
Paul George, I live on Liverpool High Street. Yeah, up at the, when High Street goes out, or St. Paul Street, I talked to Drew about it a couple months ago. When they park there, at the house where used to be Bueller's residence, you can't see down the street, you're totally blocked. And Drew said the same thing I did, I think that curb sticks out, partway down there. I think if paint that curb, you can see. But I've got a picture, if anybody likes to see it.
No, I know for a fact I've come through there too.
When the cars,
How far would we have to paint back here?
where the red trucks is.
Yeah,
That's where it kind of, if you're looking at the road, it comes up like this and then it comes out, like coming out of the house. And the whole way up that street, that curb's painted red, except for right there. And when they park there and they go across to the doctor's office, or wherever they're at, I think most of the cars park there and they go across to the doctor's office, you're blind all the way down. And I see, I almost got, busted about.
It's on the street, it's only three parking spaces there that affects. Unfortunately, when you come out there, it's just, you're blind, when people, you're blind.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the only way you can prevent that, the only way you can prevent that is either put a red curb there, or maybe a mirror on the other side where they can look at the mirror and see if anything's coming up the street, but we know how that works. When we had it going the other way out the alley here, it didn't work too good, yeah.
So is there off-street parking at Bueller's house? Is there a driveway parking in the back?
High Street, High Street.
Yeah, so they have a parking.
I sleep behind the house.
I just don't want to take somebody's car.
No, I
in front of their
understand. I
house.
agree with you.
Yeah.
That's why they said they got
Yeah.
red truck, this red truck road is, but they don't want much parking here, so I'm not going to complain about that. If they could just get those, like Kevin said.
If
street
there
parking,
isn't,
yeah,
there's parking at the
it's about
doctor's
three parking
office,
spots,
so
but like I
they've
said,
got parking behind it.
Those, when they park there, they are out of the street. Because that whole curve all the way up around St. Paul, it's painted red except for that three car parking space right there. I mean, everything else is red all the way up there, yes, Kevin. So when they're parked there, you're dead blind. You can't see it. And you come up to the firewall, and I know y'all have the monitor up there. I guarantee they do this one. You know, I guarantee you that. So I'm almost.
It's painted about 15 feet red down, it just needs about
Right,
another 15 feet.
and that's pretty much what the law is, you've got to be, I think it's 25 feet from intersection. But with that intersection being the way the road's laid out, with just a little bit of a angle, when you pull up in that intersection, you can't see down the street. If a car's parked there, then you just have to inch to make sure nothing's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, you just, so sometimes you can't see, especially if it's dark. A lot of times you're coming the hill, the lights shine up in there, you don't even see the lights until it's too late. I've always got to come. So, yeah, that's why I'm here. Gary in there next to me, he said about it. Then Howard across the street, two fellows live on the corner there, they talked about it too. And I live here in Will Betty Palmer, in case he coming out, she's putting 90 years old.
Yeah.
It's true coming out there. So, I'm just saying, somebody is gonna Betty probably don't care. Might be right. Might be right, say.
So what do we need to do to make it happen?
Just
Ask Greg to.
Greg,
make it
paint
happen?
curb.
I painted it last year, but you guys approved. We just had to watch that one house that we took a little section away for the fire truck coming out. Remember that?
Yeah.
So
Right,
that's
because
the only
we-
parking they do have. They do not have any other
You're
parking.
right. No, you're 100% right.
Yeah, we just have to stop right at that truck, don't go any further than that, because that guy has new laws.
But you know what I'm talking about, the truck sets in, then that curb comes out, the whole curb
I'll
cuts.
try to come out of there, snow plow once.
I can imagine trying to come out. Pretty tough, so. But if y'all get that done, so the neighbors. That's all.
If you all just stay, then you okay, I'll pay you. All right.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, because we did add additional red
Some because of the-
over there last year, right?
Yeah.
You know, Eric's smart guy here, he's told me that.
Yeah.
See you, buddy. Take care. Thanks, Al. On that note, here's your dollar.
Everybody else signed up to speak, everybody's already spoke, so Public Works, Greg, floor is yours, sir.
Sir. So on the water distribution side, the leak detection company started, they've been here for about a week, you guys see them over out now. They got yellow shirts on, they're doing the whole distribution system. This coming Wednesday, we're gonna shut down Schoolhouse Court, we put out notices, we're replacing 6-inch valve on there, it's busted. It won't affect school traffic any, just they'll be able to come up that little section of the road right there. For the shut off, we had 5 total, 4 in Boonesborough, 1 in Keedysville, so it keeps dropping. And we used to get 30 to 100 of them things
Wow.
every 3 months. Yeah.
I think what's really helping is when it gets closer, that's been making some phone calls to these people.
She
reminding them.
calls literally every
She,
person
that
that's,
hasn't paid, that's late.
Yeah.
And
Saves a lot of time.
it does. It saves a lot of time and also it's getting people to respond.
Well, and that's our intent is to collect, not shut their water. off. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
So far, the leak detection guys find the exact same thing he found last year, these fire hydrants being left open.
Oh,
We're
no.
losing a lot of water based. Fire department. I mean, I'm just gonna take, they're getting up to them and they're turning the valves, they're not shutting them all the way.
We got a
They're
meeting,
volunteers.
we got a meeting this week at, this Wednesday, looking, so we
I mean,
reminded.
you just walk up, put a wrench on, turn 4 or 5 turns, you got to shut. Now, water's wasted water, it runs down the bottom of the hydrant out to the ground, and you can see it. That's why they're frost free.
That's probably why also too, our water loss is up too.
Yeah, they'll take it up, they lay it up over time, just like leaving falls. Depends on how many turns they leave it open.
I was gonna say, it'd take wouldn't that take the ground around the hydrant out too?
Yeah, they're sitting, it's there.
Oh, they're sitting in.
Just like your old frost free hydrants, they're made to drain out like that, so they don't freeze up in the winter.
Okay.
So how many,
I ain't got a total yet, I can come back Wednesday, I'll get a total for you guys for the next meeting, give you, I'll have,
and all over, I'm sure. it's
yeah, they're
not-
everywhere.
That's a shame.
It ain't just them, I mean, sometimes you catch contractors on them too,
Wow.
especially when they're out hydrant seed. Everything with sewer, collection side is good, the public works side, we're just working on the park, trying to get the park open before the 6th, and you guys know that, but still the termites. I'll tell you guys that last year when we tried to get that grant. Remember we tried to get that grant from Washington County last year for the public restroom out the park, because you guys went to leave the bathrooms open all year long.
Oh, that one down at the Boy Scouts?
Yeah, so it's pretty bad.
I thought there
I
was.
was waiting on an estimate. Earl came down, he said that he was supposed to have me one by Friday, here, but still don't have yet, but we took a lot of wood out of that place this week, we're gonna have to get it sprayed. We tried to put our own little, hey, come here, come here. We got like brand new lumber in there, we still want to get it.
No.
So as soon as I get it, I'll send it out to Jared, he can send it to you guys to get the quote. Everything else is good, no things I'll wait till it goes up on the agenda.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Greg?
Thank you, and your crew, that's all.
Pete?
There you go.
Where you want to start?
Doing good, all the water plants went pretty good this year. We did find out from MDE that we're gonna have to do more testing on that well. They want us to do another dry test and 2 wet tests, which has to be at a certain time in between each one. Which is gonna take us several months to get it all done. Other than that, that's the bad part on that part. The sewer side, all the pump stations, everything is running good. I had a big problem with the sewer plant this morning. The pumper system that handles the intermediate parts, that handles all the inflow that comes into the plant, some crap was today.
They're not working now, or the use of sewer.
No pun intended.
We got it working towards working out on how it's gonna stay working. It's 13 years old. It's leaking everywhere. It's got problems all through the system of it. That's probably looking to replace it.
And that's usually the average for them is usually about 10 years, isn't it?
Not with the newer, this year's a more sophisticated system they put in, it's an expensive one.
Ah,
So it's supposed to be at least 15. We're only at 13. but
15.
All
Still,
this I has taken a toll over the years.
yeah.
And this I, and this weekend, we were in the plant, we were there basically all weekend.
Got all the rain.
With all the rain, and it's total it again, and this morning they went down. So it flooded out the whole filter room and everything, a couple feet of water got in there, so good thing we called it in time and got it out. So we got, me and Jeremy from Jeremy at NTL Electric, took all day, I just actually just left here about an hour ago. Early this morning, trying to build that thing, get it to work, and when we got to a point where it's working now, but I don't know how long it's gonna last, so.
How
We're
much
looking into
replace?
trying to find a new system, or trying to find somebody that can get to come here and take a look at it. The company that originally put it in is out of business and no longer.
You got so much.
So that's where we're
Of
doing
course.
Other than that, it's your place one to go.
And it costs
And it's-
park on that thing? Yeah. that's-
I'm gonna run, get one, that's probably about 10,000.
No, that's not right.
So,
Not as bad as
I thought it was gonna be higher than that.
well, we're hoping to maybe find a simpler system.
Okay.
Because this is just way above more of what we do now. So, like I said, it's too really sophisticated, it's got a lot of components that just shouldn't be needed in there.
There you go, Mark.
This is that we've been working on, we're trying to get it to working good enough now where it's working, but it's steadily coming on and off, on and off. Somewhere it's leaking there a little bad, and that's what controls the buffer system, which tells it the level of the water that's coming in.
Yeah.
And the letting on there, you tell the pumps to keep running and shut off, so. Other than that, everything else in the plant's working. As for the press, they're pretty much completed. They got, I think they finished up on the electric this week, it should be. We're hoping to do the startup in the first week of April. And at least, we're trying to see how it's gonna work out, we're trying to get the bugs out of it, so. See how it's gonna work. We got the big building, the storage building, it's all building. That's completed now. Everything's up to date, we're good.
Good. That's gonna be trying to save.
There's no way to beg MD to give us like a more expedited route since we've got reservoir leaks, like to help us out or.
I can also talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions of Pete? Thank you, sir. Town planners report.
Y'all received my town planners report. Not gonna read them to you. I mean, you see what's going on. There's a lot of different pieces moving around of significance. The town staff and members of the council did meet the King Road Associates. I think we told you they're evaluating what they want to do moving forward. So we have not heard anything back from them yet. We do have some review of some annexation agreements that the council needs to decide how you want to proceed and let me know. But other than that, no change there. Highs is moving forward. I think pretty much everybody know Easter Day's properties up on the auction block on the 20th. Again, just letting you know. That's what's going on.
So,
Did you hear anything from Draper?
so will Heights be able to proceed with the road issue or
Yes, their side is completed.
their side is good?
And Greg and I went out there and Greg confirmed with me that all the hookup for utilities for water and sewer were inspected by the town, are operational and are fine. The problem is everything on the other side of that road is not done. That's where the work has to take place. But again, I've expressed to you all my fear is that once High starts, Derek or Duncan and everybody else gonna want to go, and we can't go because we don't have good water and sewer. So that's, again, pushing that issue with the bonding is just, there's no one beating at the door now,
Right.
but it's, as soon as dirt starts moving there, the others are gonna start coming. I just don't want to have an answer that I don't know when you can hook up, or at least have some idea.
She has answered a lot.
Right. I just wasn't sure about the road and the access, like if that was,
The only other thing that I'll bring up that was of note was with the BMUC. We had a property that's subdivided outside of town on Mount Lena Road. They asked about water and sewer service. So my question to the BMUC was, what is your policy on out-of-town water service? Meaning, is there a policy? And the answer I got back was no. So we're developing a policy to make a recommendation back to the council. I will tell you the general policy is this: we do not grant water and sewer connections or water connections outside of the town boundaries unless it's a public health and safety emergency as identified by the Maryland Department of the Environment, with one exception. A 1-inch tap would be permitted. What that does is there are people that are out in those areas that a 1-inch tap, if you limit it to 1-inch tap, that's one house. You can't, no one can run the line and run a subdivision off a 1-inch line. But then you have those people that are on Mount Lena Road and some other areas that aren't hooked up to the water but may need to be because people around them were hooked up for reasons. If you just had one exception that said you could only do a 1-inch connection, I think that's, but the BMUC is going to have to review that and then make a recommendation to the council. But that is pretty significant as to what you want to do, because what you don't want to happen is if you provide water outside of your boundaries with no policy, somebody can come along and say, well, I don't want to annex to the town.
It's Mount, not the Mount Laurel, it's Mount Laurel, not
Oh, I'm sorry, not Laurel,
Thank you.
sorry.
Thank you. I was thinking,
Well, so that's kind of what's going on in those areas.
That sounds
I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has
Have you heard anything back from Draper?
regarding SHA.
Yes.
The information apparently that you were given, Mayor, was incorrect. They did have the second submission done, and they're supposed to have the plans approved by the end of this week.
So Jared was wrong. Not this Jared.
No.
The other Jared.
Well, I just sent it to Draper and I said, hey, you asked the mayor to look in with state highway.
He saw the email.
He saw, I wasn't pointing fingers. I was just like, guys, what's going on? And all of a sudden a flurry of emails happened. Next thing I know, somebody came in and said there was a miscommunication.
Well, first he told me 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden I get this email the next day. We sent a response to your developer on the 29th.
They responded to that. They showed me all that stuff.
Good.
So it's moving forward. We did meet with Mr. McElwee. Mr. McElwee is amicable in considering the offer from the town. He asked me to come up with a timeline, like a sequence of events, like how does this happen? Whose property gets recorded first? When does this? And I've called him to ask him a couple of dates and times, so I'm working that out with him as well. He did not oppose it. So, but again, we weren't going to push it. The meeting was outside, on site. It was about wind chill of about 15. So it wasn't a super long meeting. So
Any movement on the post office?
they're running cable out there. When did I call you, Greg? Friday?
Right.
Friday, they ran cable all the way out there. So, I mean, I'm assuming they're moving forward.
If we're still on for Wednesday with Fletcher's Road, 9 o'clock, is that?
That's every month. Yes, sir. That's to keep that project on track to make sure it stays where it needs to stay.
Thank you.
Any other questions, for anyone?
Drew, did you want to bring up the second lawyer's opinion on King Road's agreement?
That's up to you all. I mean, you all have had a couple of discussions, I know, both in public and in executive session. So I don't know where that lies or how that goes. You all have some information. You have to just decide, do you want to let King Road respond back? Do you want to tell them what the town believes the situation is? Long and short of it is we have an annexation agreement that we believe and is supported by an attorney's review with case law and everything else. So the agreement's null and void. It was not followed. Now, do you really want Kings Road to go away or do you want them to stay? I mean, I think the honest thing is that everybody was working in good faith. I mean, there's a lot of money that was spent engineering on those plans. Somebody's just not up their color. I mean, there was some money spent. And, what does the town want to do? To go to them and say, we believe the agreement's null and void, would you like to negotiate another one? They're going to say, yes, we would. But do you want to do that? Or are they just in the town? Remember, if the annexation agreement is null and void, they're just in the town. They have the zoning they have. They have to comply with whatever we put on the comp plan, with the, Warriors Boulevard, all those kind of things. So, you all have to kind of have a discussion as to what you want to do. If that agreement goes null and void, they buy the water and sewer taps at whatever the prevailing rates are. They submit site plans and do their reviews just as if it's everybody else. There's no additional annexation agreement to go look at. It's just the zoning. But I don't know what you all want. Usually annexation agreements are to entice the town to bring the property into the town. It's already in the town. It's been in the town. What is, and I'm happy to come to a meeting and we can discuss that fully if you want, but that's really my question to you all. It's your decision. If you can say, hey, the agreement's null and void, the zoning you have is what you have. We're working on our comp plan. If you want changes, let us know. Or do you want to renegotiate another annexation agreement so you can make sure you get that elementary school property? You make sure you get Warrior Boulevard. But when you get those, you're going to have to give something back. What do you feel? Do we want to have those discussions? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you that I think is best for the town of Boonesboro. I think for that property to be sold and to go off into limbo and not hear anything from it for a very, very long time is not good long-term planning for the town of Boonesboro. I don't think that's good planning. Because then it's always an unknown. What are we going to do with that? What are we going to do with Kings Road? What are we going to do with Kings Road? At least having a plan, you can start to see it build out, but I don't know what y'all's feelings are.
The water board was on hold with our new agreement until we got an answer.
Right.
So at the water board meeting, we were able to finally move forward and say, yes, we want to go ahead and present the new agreement because now we're no longer obligated to 552, which was huge because the way things were on that agreement, we had no EDUs. Ours are all invested there and with the water loss.
And Assistant Mayor, if you want to use that just to, solidify that agreement and really not go into that with Kings Road, that's up to the council. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, that was the first thing. We got that resolved because of this opinion, well, both opinions. But I think that we should reach out to King Road and tell them that, it's time to come back to the table because we have to renegotiate. You're in default. We've had 2 attorneys look at it. One attorney said emphatically yes for several reasons, and the other attorney had some basic no's and yeses, but she wasn't in complete agreement. But I think that King Road is important to the town, or we wouldn't have annexed the property. Warrior Boulevard is way more important to the town, and so is the school property. So I think, in my opinion, I think we should reach out and try to renegotiate because right now they have no agreement.
But they don't know that.
Well, they
They don't know that, and how we approach them with that response is a very delicate response.
Well, we just talked about it in a public meeting, so.
Right, that's right. Most town public meetings are not going to get back to Atlanta and let them know what's going on. I mean, it certainly could, and it's open to the public, but again, you've also said publicly here, you believe it's an important part to the town, so it absolutely is. My job is to always provide you all with both sides of the coin. It's not my decision. It's not what I think is best. It's what you all think is best.
We've heard from the planning committee, from the BMUC planning feels basically the same way, or?
Hasn't really been discussed in here in much detail. We haven't really talked about that specifically since we had this second opinion determined.
Well, we get some feedback from what the planning commission feels and put it all together.
Right.
How does that sound?
Put it on the agenda.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
Nope. You finished, sir?
I am. Y'all done with me?
I thought you'd come up.
I'm making notes.
He said, well, I thought it was one of those, wait a minute.
Now, Greg is mad at me if I talk too much, so I just hear the next item on the agenda.
You get that a lot, so you're great.
He said, quit running your mouth. I want to go home.
Okay. Town manager's report. Jared?
Yeah, just a few things that
won't be on the new business section. Some of you were involved in email, the CDS application, federal application for the reservoir was completed today. We made some minor changes to it, but all in all, it's going to be submitted, I think, tomorrow. We are requesting, for those of you that read it, right, we are requesting the full amount. And the reason for that is because of the low, that full amount, that 9 million and some change is that middle ground. So the high potential amount is a little over $11 million. And so the 3 million that we got on top of that will then, if we were to get all 9 million federally, those 3 million, even if it does come behind, will cover it. So that's why that number is like that. Again, we made some small changes, but I think it's going to be submitted tomorrow, unless those of you that were on emails have had any questions about it. Yeah, we had a meeting. Well, Pete was busy with some other things today, but I ended up still having that meeting with NDE this morning about the well. As Pete was saying, I mean, there's just a lot of testing we still have to do that we were kind of aware of. And it's not the testing per se that's going to be time consuming, it's the timing of the testing that's going to be an issue. You have to do wet testing and dry testing, so it has to be over a half an inch of rain. And you're supposed to really run the pump for 7 days before you get a half an inch of rain, and then immediately within 24 hours test.
They think it's greedy. They think it's groundwater under the influence. They think that because it's running at that rate, which I don't disagree with them. I honestly don't. They think that direct rainwater from the ground is getting right into the aquifer. If that's the case, it's not that you can't use it, you just have to filter it.
It's not getting, that turbidity never goes up with all the rain.
Okay.
It's the same.
But weren't we?
Pete, you and I both stood over that well and we're like, I just, something just didn't feel right about it. I've never heard of a well that high.
But weren't we in the driest summer drought when it was opened up?
We turned into one dry test. We did it with one dry test we did. But you have to have 2 dry tests, 2 wet tests now to put a new well, public well.
So this is new restrictions that's coming.
This is new. This is actually EPA restrictions. So that's why Maryland doesn't have a lot of wiggle room, which is kind of what we were hoping for. So because these are EPA restrictions, there's only so much they can do for us. Now, I did mention to them though, with all these water issues we're having and issues we're having with the existing well, the odor and things like that, you know, I told them if we have another dry summer, because we could potentially get into summer pretty easily before we get this permit. You know, what will they do for us? And so they did talk about if it is what they consider an emergency, they will give us a temporary permit. But as of right now. So now Pete and I just have to figure out timing wise when to do, you know, these tests. But I mean, I think, you know.
Well, Carnival Week is guaranteed to be a wet week.
Last year.
So true, but not last year.
Well, and the one good thing we were a little worried about is, you know, you're supposed to run the well for a week before you do a testing. But we were thinking, well, you just have to open the well up for a week. That's, you know, millions of gallons potentially of water. But I was told by MD that we do not have to, our size system, we don't have to open it up for a full day. It can just be a few hours each day, just to get things moving. So that's a little bit better. So it's just a matter of getting that timing down. We'll get it done, but potentially it's going to be months before we can. Just a quick update. The Parks Department finally gave us the go-ahead on that beautification plan that the EDC has been working on for the plantings over by Park Drive. So they're okay with that. They're okay with SHA's list of potential plant life. So it's just a matter of now I have to work with SHA on a maintenance agreement, MOU. That's what I need to get with Greg because we're not going to have these guys sit here and do maintenance of these plants all day. So we need to figure out what actually the maintenance will be, and then potentially we're going to have to maybe hire someone seasonally or get some help from some of these groups. Obviously, we do have some volunteers that will help with it, the Parks Department and such, but Depending on what type of plants are actually used and how much time we think that's gonna take, we're gonna have to figure something out. I haven't really had a chance to talk to Greg about it, so I'm gonna do that first, before we worry about that. And then, once we get that plan down, we'll finalize that MOU with SHA. I'll bring that to the council. On another note with that, the EDC does want to focus though on the circle first. So the sign and the landscaping through the circle before anything else is done. Because it's on a highway and because you're building something on there, we are actually gonna have to get engineered drawings for that. Luckily, it's in the grant, they still have money in the grant to do that, so I'm gonna work with, I think the amount that we're gonna, the cost for it, we don't have to go like that or anything for that. So I'm gonna get some cost estimates from some of the engineers that we work with.
We got 18.
Right, yep, no, this should fall within that grant. So I'm gonna work with them to get an engineering board to give us some drawings on that, so we can do that first before anything else, because that seems to be their high priority.
That's a good point though about the maintenance and this great building. Take care of it and how, what we do, which should be complex.
Yeah, we can't allow our maintenance department to be constantly watering those flowers, because they're gonna be, a lot of those flowers that are on there, they're gonna be need watering every other day.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to do that.
I'm having a group of people from the garden club
Well,
that did that down here. at the,
Yeah, and who gets hit with?
Well, we was
water
thinking-
out there?
the park board was thinking about is seasonal, just some kid working over the summer.
All this,
Yeah,
like,
that's
did
good.
the council approve all that? I thought we only approved like a certain portion, like the things at the park.
No, all this was on that plan, you guys were approved, because the only thing that was taken off of, then when you guys approved the plan were the trees, and there were no trees on that plan.
Big trees out there.
So everything else was the same. The only difference is, and what we talked about when you guys did the approval, was we didn't have a list of plants yet. And, but that list has to be SHA approved anyway, so it's not something that necessarily we can just choose. But the placement of everything is the same as what it is. Any questions on any of that? Anything else? Not right now, so just good enough. Chief?
One of the court that you mentioned is going to be turned over to the town as soon as we get the page down, like everything and stuff out. Get it, you know, you can get it with the info. And that's, I think, you'll want to set it right to,
Yes.
whoever it is out there. So we'll get that to you. As far as that go, we had 75 calls for service. We had 246 traffic stops, a parking citation, criminal arrest, and the DWI arrest. Doing the paper that we sent out, it'll tell you that the traffic is special traffic confirmed. It was Center Street, 6 hours, 6 stops, King Road, 3 hours, 6 stops, Maple Avenue, 9 hours, 23 stops, and the list goes on. That's specific people calling and complaining about, so it's a specific spot. We'll start a sheet for that. Just so that people can't go back, well, you're not doing nothing. Well, we can say, yeah, these are the, this is what we're doing.
I can't believe Potomac Street,
Yeah. Yeah.
24 stops.
Yeah. Now that, Potomac Street, that's setting out, and this is the reason why we're setting there. People coming out on Chestnut, it's a bad intersection. You think people are doing 40 miles an hour and they're doing 60 miles an hour. So if someone pulls out there to turn left or right, and they got some guy coming out almost twice the speed, that's why there's so many stops there. I mean, we're stopping a lot of cars. And we've also got a drunk setting there coming into town and another charge. So, I mean, the tag reader's working and we're getting started. So that's that. I got personnel issues. If we want to do that, I hate to do an executive thing, but I can tell you about it now if you want it. So,
Yeah, it's out.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Emily quit today. No notice. I don't know how y'all want to do her pay. She took off sick Thursday and Friday. She was off Saturday and Sunday. And according to our new sick policy, if you need a doctor's excuse to come back, well, she come back and need to turn her stuff in. So are we going to pay her for the 2 days that she called in sick? Or is that considered part of her leave? I mean, technically, for her to get paid for those 2 days of sick, she had to show the doctor's excuse today, and she didn't. So you're all gonna have to, it's not like she has a bunch of time to cash in, but they use it, say, forget. But, I mean, I think she had 12 hours of vacation and 11 hours or something like that for comp time. I'm not sure on the exact hours. And I think she was down to 8 hours of sick time. So she's gone. The gentleman that we was going to hire, he's on hold. The State attorney's got issues. The other gentleman that was going to come to work for us, he says we don't pay enough. He couldn't work for that time. So we're down to Ted, Tom, and I. Laura, Ted's got a lady coming in for a background, so he may be going. So it might be just Tom and I. But we've worked two before, we can do it again, and
It's been a long time.
yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it comes down to, if you want a police department fully manned, we're gonna have to put people through the academy, and hopefully they stick around. But, I mean, the latest ones that we've sent through the academy haven't.
Except for one we got now.
So far, I mean,
He's turned out to be.
yeah, I mean, he's stuck around so far, but who's to say he's gonna be here in 3 years, 2 years? I mean, that's the only problem. When you put somebody through the academy, that person is no good for the police department or the town for at least 2 years. And he's still new. And even out of your work can tell you how did he get a new person. So hate to see anybody leave. I tried to make them happy, but maybe I should have, but they were doing nothing. And I said, this is what's going to happen. If you all want a good evaluation, this is what you got.
I wouldn't take that and think that you caused that, chief.
No.
No, you
Probably
have
wasn't
to
the final
run, and
reason.
exactly.
We talked about that, and I told you I gave you my blessings to do that.
Well, I mean, a number shows that it can be done. Tom showed it can be done.
Yes.
Even I'm doing it. So if I can do it in 63, they should be able to do it in 35
Yes.
or 25, whatever, how old they are. But anyway, that's where we're
being
at.
paid for.
Well, that's what I said. You know, one of them made a statement, I don't get paid enough to do that much work. I'm asking you to do one thing an hour.
Yeah.
One traffic stop, 4 traffic stops a shift and 4 self-initiating calls a shift. Goodness gracious.
What about the other candidate that might be coming on? Is that still?
That's, he's unavailable to July.
Okay, that's okay, but that's still in the works.
Yes, yes. And what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to get him linked up. You gotta do is comparative compliance.
Right.
And just as soon as in July, we can find one for him, that's where he's going, if he's still interested. But again, I mean, when we do our budget, I'm gonna have it broken down. I can tell you what HCC's paying, Smithsburg, Hancock. And I think I got another one in there, all the hospitals. I mean, they're gonna have their own police department. We're not the top paying group, so, I mean, we're gonna have to do something if you wanna keep people, unfortunately. And it's gonna be up to you all how you wanna do it. And again, I'm not opposed to putting somebody through the academy. The problem is, they're really not gonna benefit him for at least a year.
Yeah, there's one at the hospital now that found out that they're getting their own police force. That's a deputy. Said if they put him back way out in the county, he's done, he's coming to talk to you.
Okay. Yeah, I know who that is.
Well, back to your first concern with the recent walk off the job,
Yeah.
no notice. I say follow the guidelines.
Exactly.
Yep, I would too.
Well, then, I mean, again,
Okay.
she didn't give us,
I say
She
follow
didn't
the
give us any
guidelines.
notice, no.
I mean, she didn't even tell me.
She didn't, she did it when you weren't even here.
No, Amy texted me this morning, said she heard that Emily's on her way in to quit. And 20 minutes later, she comes walking into all her stuff. She quit. So,
And also according to our personnel manual, it does say that everyone's required to give a 2 weeks notice. If you do not, at the discretion of the mayor and council, we can choose, or you all can choose to not pay them their vacation pay also.
And again, she didn't go by the sick leave policy alone. It said that she had to give a notice to get paid for Thursday and Friday that she took off. She provided no notice to why she did. So again, it comes up to you all if what kind of a check you want to cut her for her last check. She's turned everything in. Everything's been turned in. It's is in good order, the car was clean, the whole 9 yards. It's just the fact that she used 2 days sick leave prior to quitting, and she never goes 2 weeks. So,
Where's she going?
excuse me,
Where's she going? Dispatch?
nowhere, I think. Right now, I don't think she has it.
She's gonna go.
Well, that's what I heard, but then I heard from other people that they didn't touch it. Maybe so, I don't know. But the other two that were supposed to be coming on board right now, one of them said that he can't work for that kind of thing, the other one's in limbo because of some other issues. And they're, I mean, they would have been both 2 weeks and they've been able to go.
So who do you want to decide about the vacation?
It's up
Kim's dad.
it's up to
What do you
the-
want?
You heard what Kim read, so what's your,
I mean, if it's in the books, why not go by the books?
is that the motion,
We
Tim?
can't not.
I make a motion.
I make a
to
motion.
follow.
Okay,
Okay,
okay. We got a
follow the
motion.
policy.
We have a second.
Yep. I'll be second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Everybody understand what you're voting on, what Kim said?
Well, I think it should boil down to what Kevin, what Kevin wants.
Yeah, I would just give
I
the
would-
chief's discretion. What would you like us to do? Of course, that's a motion, but if,
Well, again, I mean,
for our support on something,
according to our rules and regulations, in order to get paid for Thursday and Friday, taking off sick prior to your days off, and that's not just for the police department, that's the entire town employee.
Yes.
You've got to provide a sick note. And when she called in sick, when she sent me the text on Friday that I'm taking off sick today, my response with her was, okay, you need a doctor's note on Monday. So she knew that. It wasn't like she didn't. She could have easily have taken Thursday and Friday off on vacation, but she didn't. She chose sick time. So again,
Did she have sick time?
excuse me?
Did she have sick time?
Yeah, she had enough for, so according to our, the way I read it, in order for her to get paid for Thursday and Friday, she had to produce a doctor's note for that, and she didn't.
So we're supporting you if that's what you want.
It's not coming out of my, it's not coming out of my.
Yeah.
No, it's the mayor and council has. to.
Not for
Oh,
that.
That's why I made a motion to support the policy. That's what you want. I thought.
Yep, yep.
And Terry seconded it, and you asked the question. We're supporting the chief.
Okay.
We have a motion and a
Yep.
second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstain. Motion carries.
So I will cut her last check on Wednesday. It will not include the 2 sick days and it will not include the remainder of her vacation pay.
And that's in our rules and
That's in
regulations.
our rule.
Right,
Yeah.
that's The policy that
Yep, that's
attorney,
policy.
you have to.
She could have gave us a notice.
And if she comes in with the doctor's note, then you can take her for sick time.
Well, I think that's a little too late.
Well, I know, but I mean, we didn't have a time limit.
Well,
for the doctor's
yeah, she-
note, 'cause she didn't come in.
Well,
You got an employee anymore, so why should she be bringing it in? She left today.
He has a text that said to bring it,
I'm
and
done.
he didn't.
Yeah, she was warned.
She was. He's had plenty of.
give you a written notice or just a verbal?
I haven't got nothing.
I was gonna say, did you get anything?
She never heard anything.
That's job done.
Yeah.
She told Amy that she was quitting and she was done being a police officer and again, going back to personal stuff, she started at the beginning of the month that she was all distraught because she wasn't gonna get to see her child because of working evenings. And it's always drama.
But what you had set up was right, in my opinion. You worked days, then you had a couple of days off and you went on night.
Yeah, we rotated.
Everybody got the equal amount of shifts.
What they don't, that's part of their job.
That's-
Well, when she was originally hired, it was for evenings only.
Yeah, when she first started, it was all night.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, I got the group together and said, hey, if we rotate every month, then everybody is not stuck on it.
That's right. That's-
Yeah.
That's it.
And I thought it was fair. I thought it was,
I think so.
it worked. But again, I think it all come down, they just don't want to work.
It's that breed.
Details for Tom to work as far as, extra enforcement activity?
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, his 2 days off this week, he's in training. So, but yeah, we're going to get him to work some extra hours. Dave's going to come back to work now and work some hours a week. And I mean, it'll work out. We'll do the coverage. And, I mean, if everybody gives up a day and works out here, so we have enough coverage for the town, I think we'll make it work.
And I'm sure you're let the sheriff's department know.
Oh, yeah.
Down.
Yeah. I'm sure they knew about it before I did.
That's right.
Probably.
Well, you still have the courage. That is really, that's thank
Thank you, Chief.
I have another question for the chief.
Sure, go ahead.
If I may, I was contacted a couple of days ago by a local business owner. And I was contacted again today to inquire, and I said, we have a meeting tonight. I will ask the chief. I heard, or the business owner tells me, that there was a busload of immigrants dropped off in the park last week. Have you heard anything about that?
No, yeah. I was asked about that today too. And
I don't know where it came from.
I mean, you know, honestly, if something like that would happen, it would be noticeable. They would end up in an ACT or the Weeches to get their belongings removed. I don't know that it,
Yeah,
we don't have any indication that it did.
I rode through the park, I didn't see anything.
Okay, yeah.
People.
Did you all see any of that?
I didn't see it. They covered right there.
Who did?
No, it wasn't necessarily.
Can't tell, I'm not great talking.
They shortened the Boy Scouts again, because we had a group of homeless camping in.
Remember that?
Park at one time, here was Boy Scouts. Somebody called Kim on Monday morning and said there was a bunch of homeless people camping in the park.
We were like, no, they were little homeless people. They were Boy Scouts.
There's a billboard on the Rio Grande saying, come to Boonesboro.
Yeah.
Oh, my, stuff really gets started.
Go to Green, North Carolina.
Yeah, under, anything else for the chief, more buses? Okay, under mayor and council correspondence, I gave you all samples. Somehow or another, I got on the 250th anniversary celebration of the 250th year of Washington County, which will be celebrated July 4th of 2026. They printed off each one of these for the towns to show if we want to use it on any kind of labels or anything. And the suggestion was, and I should be getting a price on it sometime very soon, coins, silver coins. One side will have the emblem of the town of Boonesboro on, and the other side, you could have our town seal like we have down the front here, the circle with Boonesboro on it. They're supposed to be getting all the municipalities' prices, and they would like for municipalities to go for this. And they will either sell them or give them out at certain events. A good place to sell them would be at Boonesboro Days. Maybe talk to the EDC or EDC to take on a project, something like this. It's just food for thought right now. It's in the makings. So once we get more meetings and find out what's going on and get the price of the gold coins or whatever they're called, what kind of coins they are. They're about the size, a little bit bigger than a $50. So.
Yeah, the EDC went out, it would be in my report, but they wanted to start branding for the town. So they're looking at a little group to figure out the new, whether it's a symbol or a saying, you know, whatever. Those might fall into that too.
They're gonna this is gonna kick off their celebration, hopefully, if the Alsatian Alsatian Club lets them put a float into the Mummers Parade, this coming Mummers Parade. They're gonna be the kickoff of getting ready to celebrate their 250th anniversary of Washington County. And on the, I don't know where you noticed it, not in the Washington's portrait, there are 9 stars for the 9 municipalities in Washington County around his head. So I will keep you all posted, another day on anything coming on. I'll bring it up at the EDC next meeting. Yeah. So. Anybody else have any other?
Yeah, I have one thing. Tom had gotten us the life back donated. We talked about doing a thank you note. I don't know whether we followed through with that. I forget who actually
Yeah.
got the donation from, but I did bring a thank you note.
Okay.
He got that life back section
Mhm.
donated to the town to carry.
Yeah,
We said it would be nice to send a thank you note, so we need to write something in it, yeah. But if we want to sign and we write a note, just so we get that done.
pushes himself off screen into his office.
I know.
Just don't want to go off the air.
I didn't write anything in there because I wasn't sure, you know what I mean, where we can all sign it. Thank you. Just thought we needed.
That made me think something too. I have a card for you guys to sign for Jim.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Tom actually contacted the company and they donated.
Good.
Like that himself.
Okay, so we'll have to write a little.
Any other correspondence?
I had one thing.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure if it fits under this category, but I think it fits better than any other. You asked something in the last meeting and I misrepresented. When we were talking about the MLGIP, you specifically asked if it's FDIC insured, and I said yes, and it's not.
It's not.
It is a AAA rated money market fund, and there are other protections, but it is not FDIC insured, just to clear that up.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anything else? Review of bids for 2024 mowing services.
So we received 7 bids this year, actually, usually we only get like 2 or 3, so we did pretty good. They ranged from, you guys seen it, $1,000, put it up to $2,000. The company that came in the cheapest was C&D Property Maintenance. They're out of West Virginia. I called their references. They got really good references. One's Town of Hedgesville, another one's Berkeley Springs Council. And Yetters is the second one in charge. I know sometimes you guys like staying local, so that's why I'm throwing this to you. See if you guys want to keep it local or do you want to go to a company out of West Virginia, C&D Property.
Who do you recommend?
Yetters don't have babysitter for the first month. Showing the property line.
$3,300.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I brought it to you. Sometimes I know you guys like to stay local, so that's why I came to put it on the agenda.
Did C&D provide all like the proper paperwork we need for insurance or bonding or?
What's the council's pleasure?
You guys want to try somebody new? Fine, that's fine.
I don't want to make it a headache for him though.
I read it, they would give us $300, what would you do to your house? You know what I mean? I mean, you only have to babysit them.
It's not that bad.
Right.
33, I didn't think it was
That changed. If I don't know, they don't know. That's the way I do it.
Yeah,
If I don't know the
yeah.
park or historical
Yeah.
park or any of the other spots we did in town, I tell
Yeah,
them.
it's $120 a week.
Yeah.
I guess it. Well, 20 based on what they have for each bid.
So it has to be for the year.
Yeah.
If they bid for the season.
Now, we've.
Do we want to have?
I've been to 2 companies before that's come in and didn't do what they were supposed to. And you just got to, get somebody to call back and pick up all the work.
Right,
That's the way it works.
How many years have you been using Yetters?
About 8, probably.
Oh, I don't think it's been that long.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been quite a long time.
I used somebody else when I first got council.
We did. We used Beard.
Yeah,
Beard was one of them. And we used a company out of Shepherdstown called H&H Lawns.
yeah,
I did my summer for Yetters for 5 years.
yeah.
How much did it go up from the last contract, you know?
Yetters actually went down. We added Sycamore Run and he actually dropped it a couple bucks. I asked him, what did you do? He said, I was just trying to keep it. He's like, everything's so close together.
Is that a motion?
Yeah.
So
I have a motion.
I was trying to do too many things at once here. So my mother-in-law uses Yetters and she prepays for the whole year, she gets a discount. Do we want to go back to them and say, well, what if we prepay? Not 30 or 40% off of it, just before.
Yeah, he probably would. I mean, they do a lot more. His wife runs fit here in Boonesborough.
Yes.
Or at least ask if we can negotiate. I mean, I don't know, I'd hate to lose them I will say though, make sure you guys are deciding based on the bids that everybody gave. You can negotiate with anybody after you've already got them on board, but just
Can't do it.
at a public meeting,
Yeah.
especially, just make sure you're approving it based on the bid.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I'd say the first two are, they're only like 3,000 apart, but then once you get past the others, it's like, whoa.
Actually, that $1,500 is average. I think Mike Van Fleet, which is another local guy, he said he can't touch it. He said, there's no way he can begin to bid on it, do it for $1,100. It's so much mowing. And they only do probably 3/4 of the mow. We do the other quarter of it.
Sure. Absolutely.
I make a motion for yes.
We have a motion for Yetters. Do I have a second?
I'll second Terry's motion to stay with the other.
We have a motion and a second to stay with Yetters. Any other discussion?
I did have a question. So the 1,165 is the same price as last year or a little
No,
less?
it's lower.
He said he dropped it. I think it was like 1,200. What was it, Kim?
Come on, Kim.
You know, I was going to write that down on my page here and I did not. Maybe I did.
I asked him, I said, why'd your price go down? He didn't say, well, nothing. He just told me he wanted the job because everything's so close to go. So he told me.
And you also pay inside of 30 days and they don't have to run around trying to collect it. That matters a lot to the business.
No, I don't have it written in this.
Okay, no problem.
I'm
Okay, we
sorry.
have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. You will notify him, Greg?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, fiscal year 2024 real estate and personal property tax, constant yield rate. Hasn't changed, not gonna change. We had a public hearing, nobody showed up.
Well, we didn't have to have a public hearing because,
Oh, no, that's right, because we didn't change.
right.
Right.
So what I wrote here is the tax rate on all real property located in the limits of the town of Boonesborough is hereby set at 0.3591 per $100 of assessed property value. The assessed property value should be those used for real estate tax purposes as determined by the Washington County Office of the State Department of Assessment and Taxations. Personal property tax, the tax rate applicable to personal property located within the limits of the town of Boonesborough is hereby set at 0.875 per $100 of assessed personal property. The assessed personal property value shall be those used for personal property tax purposes as determined by the State Department of Assessment and Taxations. So there's no increase in taxes from previous years, and we're not going with the constant yield. That's
We have to vote.
right. Well, I mean, that's what.
Do I have a motion to accept the 2024 constant yield tax rate certification at 0.3591?
It's not the constant yield tax, the current tax rate.
Current tax rate, excuse me.
Confusing.
It is.
Yeah, very confusing.
I'll make a motion that we accept the current tax rate.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the current tax rate. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Resolution 2024-03, resolution of the town of Boonesborough authorizing the town to participate in the Maryland Circuit Rider Town Manager Program.
This is just another part of what we need to do to continue with the Circuit Rider program. This is just a resolution that we need for actually DHCD, who funds the Circuit Rider program. So this is the resolution needed to be passed and signed for that. Not for anybody. Does everybody have a copy by any chance?
Well,
Just online?
Okay. Yeah, it was in,
In fact,
so we talked about this at the workshop.
yes.
And we agreed that we were going to continue. So I'll make a motion to continue on with resolution 2024-03.
Do we have a motion to accept resolution 2024-03? Do we have a second?
I'll make a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay, zoning fee schedule amendment. Now, I think it's going to be a TV show.
Yeah, a little bit of TV show. So you guys have seen this twice. You did ask at last month's meeting, you did want to hear the planning commission input on it. They're recommending, what you see before you is what they're recommending. There were no changes. They went through them and looked at them, but they were recommending that the council move forward with scheduling a public hearing and adopting these rates. Again, you've seen them before. I'm happy to answer any questions. The request for this evening's meeting is to schedule a public hearing, if you so desire to make these rate changes.
I did have one question, because I don't think I followed, because we talked a little bit about a driveway fee. That got taken out, but I'm not sure where the debate ended, of whether we wanted to have reviews if people weren't just putting a driveway
Entrance permit.
anywhere. So did I miss it?
No, it's called an entrance permit.
Oh, okay, fine.
And I can't find anywhere in your code
Okay,
where you have a reason to charge for that.
oh, okay.
In fact, I can't find anybody that tells me the reason why you have to pay a fee to put a driveway on a town street. You have to have town approval. I totally get that. You have to put it into town standards.
Oh, okay, so it wouldn't allow somebody just to go and push
Oh,
it
ma'am.
to the sidewalk.
No one connect to a town street without town
Just
permission.
don't charge to do that. Wait, that's all I.
Right, because they're gonna have a whole bunch of expenses anyway, because likely they're gonna have to put in a apron, with the sidewalk, curb and gutter, and,
Right.
you know, they're gonna, and if it's a big entrance, they're gonna have to have, you know, turning radiuses and those kind of things, so, but that's up to you, again.
Yeah, that's all.
That's the reason why-
I just want to make sure somebody can't just put a driveway in across the sidewalk without.
And this is a zoning fee schedule that you will see every budget cycle.
Okay.
And the question will be asked, do we need to raise fees? Do we not need to raise fees? That all comes up when we start looking at our budgets and you start seeing the revenues that you're collecting for your review fees and the cost of the planning department. So the more work we do, the more cost we generate, we should be collecting more revenue. This is going to give us a starting point to look and see. And next year, when we're done with this for 1 year and we look at it, we're like, oh, we need to raise rates, or no, the rates are exactly where they need to be. But you all had asked for something that you could see every year at budget time, and that's why I've set it up in the zoning fee schedule. This will be an exhibit to a resolution. This will all be typed up, but this will also be an exhibit. It's a little easier to read than when you do all the strikeouts. Is there
I
anything?
think we started with by adopting Washington counties or something back in the day. It wasn't even ours. So we just rolled with it. And when you cleaned it up, we realized there were things on here that was just not even applicable. So
Kim, when's our meeting in April?
Oh, county commission.
No.
It's second.
Our council meeting.
Oh,
We're
I'm
gonna have a
sorry.
public
Depends on the
hearing.
public hearing, I understand.
It's
Sorry.
gonna be
Let me
a
look real
meeting,
quick.
the
8th.
8th of April. Is that soon enough to advertise?
Yes, sir, it is.
Let's advertise public hearing at 6:30. Didn't take any longer than a half hour. I'd probably be surprised if we have anybody show up, but you never know.
6:45.
Just in case.
So does this also
We
include,
did
what
6:45.
I'm gonna ask you about tearing down a building? And I'm kind of confused why you don't need to get a permit, but we're gonna charge somebody $300 or whatever to tear down a building.
So with a lot of things, what I'm finding is I see a fee, and I always go to look to see the enacting legislation that allows you to charge for the fee. So I saw exactly what you saw, a demolition fee that somebody pays. But nowhere in your entire zoning code does it require a permit to demolish anything. do I think it should have something? Yeah, I think you should have some general guidelines, just for the general safety of the people that live next door or something of that nature.
Don't the county have you gotta get a permit to tear something down?
Yeah, but that's a zoning, and see, we administer our own zoning within the county, so the county doesn't do that.
I'm just saying, if the county does, I mean, if the county would, I mean, why?
They made us get a permit and tear down the work plant, the little work plant.
Did they?
Yes, sir.
But they're reviewing it, we're not reviewing it. I mean, there may be a permit, but we don't, nothing we review. If you want to review something like that, we can certainly draft something in the zoning code that you do need a demolition permit. Just be very careful with that one, that's a landmine. Just be very,
Well,
very
I can
careful.
see where somebody's garage would be close to a property or a dwelling where there could be an issue. So I can see where you've got a little building out back that's out in the middle of nowhere, you're gonna take that one down, you're gonna put a new one in. But again, some of them could be a real issue.
Again, do I think you should probably have it in your code? Yes, I think you do. And you all can recommend that the planning commission come up with language. We can put that in the code if you feel that's important. And then, I'm just saying it's just not there. There may be an ordinance somewhere, but I couldn't find it anywhere that says we charge for, because usually in every part of the zoning code, it'll tell you the rules and regs for whatever it is. And then it's explicit instructions that every property, any new construction requires a zoning certificate. Say, there's not even, the word demolition is not even defined in the zoning code. It doesn't even exist. So that's the answer. Why are you charged it? Because they pulled them just like the assistant mayor did. You pulled them from the county and you just copied and pasted and said, okay, we'll charge these fees. Did I answer your question?
What was the?
Did I answer your question?
Was it 300? I think
I think it's $55.
Oh, okay. As long as it's wasn't some outrageous,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not getting a permit.
I said, I thought $55.
Any other questions or concerns? I heard 6:30 on the 8th.
Yes, sir.
Public hearing, everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
GIS budget.
The GIS, you were presented this last month under my report. This is just letting you know, again, don't bring anything to you at one meeting and ask you to approve it without giving you an opportunity to look at it, think about it and see it. So this is what we're proposing to the GIS software itself, $3,000. HP laptops too, one that can be used for the staff desk, one that can be used upstairs or wherever we have to go to meetings. Contract services, that's to get all of the GIS information on there, all the layers on there. We're estimating 80 hours. I don't think it'll take that much, but we'll see. IT services, we might need some help from Tanner to get some things hooked up here. Because remember we said we wanted to be able to pull from the server right here so that you want to see something that we worked on, I can pull it right up. I don't have to remember to save it on my flash drive and bring it down. So that's what's in there. You have a total in your FY 2024 budget right now, $20,000. Estimating 15.8, leaves a surplus of $4,175. I am asking permission at tonight's meeting to move forward with implementing the GIS system following this budget, meaning I will not exceed any of these numbers without coming back to the council. If I can get them under, I'll get them under, but if I can't, we're not going to go over these numbers.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion and a second to proceed with the GIS startup budget. Any other discussion, questions, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, motion carries. Go for it, sir.
Next item, I asked, please table. I was hoping to get that done for this evening, but I do not have.
What the gravity source, okay, we will table that to another time. And we've already, you can do a motion if you like.
Would that be an FY 25 request that you do?
It will be, yes, sir.
I have a motion to,
I'll make a motion to table the gravity.
I'll second it.
we have a motion and a second to table the gravity sewer system. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Thank you, sir. Okay, commission report, park board, Rick.
Okay.
Sorry. I want to slow down.
No, I was waiting for it.
We already did that.
Yeah, I know. Discussed, most of it was based on, their budget. And, I believe they passed their budget and I think they handed it in.
I did ask them for some additional information.
Let's see, they talked about the EDC's downtown beautification project. As long as it didn't mess with their monarch butterfly garden, so we're good with that. They discussed the local location for, no, they didn't, they tabled it. They were gonna do a location for the pickleball court, but they tabled that. They're going over the movies for this summer. That's taken care of. The Green Fest Swap and Recycle event is in May 11th. Fishing Derby's May 4th. Nothing on the disc golf update. Concert series, Sandra says she has about, she said, got June pretty much sewed up, maybe July. Tree board, there's $1,000 grant. They got $1,000 grant for 8 trees, I believe. It's from, what it's called, MUCF, which is Maryland Urban Community Forest Committee, for planting 8 trees, and I think that's going to be down around the library area. They talked about Arbor Day, which is April 21st, and the Lions Club is going to donate a tree in honor of the one guy that passed. Really what it is that one of the trees that was down there died, and they just want to replace it.
Yeah, he's already contacted Jeff about that.
Yeah, and let me see, that's about it. Let me see when our next meeting is, where is it? The 27th, March 27th, 7 o'clock. Here.
Can I jump in real quick? When we were at the park board meeting, I mentioned that the town will be receiving a grant for those pickleball courts. It was something that was applied for last year, but I guess was not followed through on. So we had to not really reapply, but just fix some things and send the application back in, which I did do. So I'm waiting to hear back still, but it looks like we will get that grant. I can't remember exactly. I want to say it's about $70,000, give or take. So the plan is though to put it where the basketball.
Okay, they must have talked to you about that. Because down during the meeting, they tabled it because they weren't sure.
Okay, I did mention.
I attended a meeting with the park board, and I thought they chose that location down there by the Boy Scouts.
Basketball court.
Because there's 2 basketball.
Oh, yeah, that's the old
So that's
basketball.
the
I could have sworn.
Well,
Man, they really
no,
use that.
they use that one too. But
Or no, maybe not that one. Maybe it's the other basketball. It's one of the basketball.
they were,
I don't remember which one.
I thought they were going to put it in where the old horseshoe pit was. Because they do use both those basketball.
And I think it's fine. I don't think grant wise it matters if we move the spot. The only thing obviously that could potentially mess with is the cost.
Yeah,
So we'd have to obviously still keep it within that budget.
but that's fine. You guys do what you have to
I thought they made that decision last year.
Well, they must have because it specifically says in the grant that the basketball court.
Okay.
It was the old basketball.
That's what I thought, and that's what I, down at the Boy
Boy
Scouts.
Scout, yeah. Man, that was good. That's what I told you.
I said, Kevin.
And then the only other question I had is Arbor Day, that's cleanup day too, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
Arbor Day, stream cleanup day.
Everything's at that. Tree dedication
Mm-hmm.
and everything.
I'm putting on my waders and going into the creek.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions of Rick? Thank you, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on
Oh,
a second.
okay.
Ricky, you need to make your,
Oh, I'm sorry. Laura Snackenberg and Sandra Schiffler's terms were up last month. Chris Hawkins as well. But I couldn't get a hold of Chris, but I got a hold of Laura and Sandra. And they would like to renew their terms.
I like
So,
Point Laura Sandra.
yeah,
Schiffler to another, what is it, 4 years?
Mhm.
4-year term. And once you find out from Chris, let us know, we'll bring it up.
okay.
I don't think it would be a problem. If Chris is willing to do it, can we add Chris Hawkins to that list too for another 4 years? Yeah. Do I have a motion? Yeah.
Want to do it all at once?
Yeah, I like to do it all at once.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint Sandra, Laura, and Chris. To the 4-year,
Providing Chris.
providing that Chris accepts.
I'll second.
And guys, I suggested you look at some of these guys and their terms. I've noticed that there's one on BMUC, his term's been up since last June. So,
Maybe things just want to change.
could be.
I thought we had all recent numbers, but we'll look at it.
they would.
They just.
Yeah, we
Yeah, you-
we reappointed him.
But they need change.
Okay.
Didn't get updated on the website.
Yeah, we just did,
Yeah, that's why I was looking through there and I thought, oh, wow.
oh, we did take, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to reappoint these 3 people back to another 4-year term, providing Chris Reese, once we get a contact.
I'm sure she will, because she's in charge of the vision there.
Yeah, she needs some. people to-
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, the same, abstaining, motion carries. Thank you, sir. Utilities Commission, Ben?
Well, first, I want to say the wall out in front of us looks amazing. I don't know whose idea that was that put all that up, but it looks very nice.
Came out of the old meter chamber down at the community center.
I did recognize it and didn't know who
With
the
the women's health, the guy, they put it up.
well,
Going this.
one or two might be moving around, but I'm not.
Yeah,
No, thank you.
thanks for pointing that out.
Look how they
Yeah. All right, so anyway.
And there's more over there. They're all over the place.
BMUC last met on February the 21st. Under old business, Pete already gave us an update on the sledge press. I'm not going to go over that. One of the things that we did vote on in the BMUC was on the buildings down there for the sludge press, the other 2 buildings. They needed what's called snowbirds on the metal roofs. You don't know much about metal roofs, but okay, so that was something that we did add. Other than that, everything is fine. Schaefer Park well, we're not going to rehash, we already heard. Reservoir, we know the standing there. MDE still has the construction plans. Our town planner is working on getting our permitting simultaneously, so we can get that out to bid as soon as possible. And of course, our town manager is still working on a funding plan. The connection fee resolution, we've already talked about, and that was already approved. The BMUC agreed with the language changes. The subdivision process update was reviewed by the town planner, and all those on the BMUC were in agreement with those changes. New connection update, there was discussion about the north end, all the general commercial and the need for public sewer out there. And the BMUC did motion to look into getting an estimate for that gravity system, which we tabled for tonight, but we'll move on that soon. And the BMUC did approve the leak detection bid, which that's already been started. Greg talked about that earlier. But we did also approve in the last BMUC meeting, the approval for 50 new water meters. They're on 7-month back order, so we should get those sometime in next fiscal year. Discussion of the policy for the out-of-town connections. The BMUC requested that the town planner draft the policy. Fixture count example was reviewed. Town planner is going to be bringing Battlefield Estates and Dean South fixture counts to our next meeting, which is coming up next week for review. Discussion about possible looping of the water line for Dean South and Canode Circle. Again, town planner is working on getting an estimated cost for our next meeting. And WRA's lead inventory proposal, we did review that. Town planner brought that in, and he did discuss some of the costs. He thinks that we have a lot of those things that they're asking to probably charge us to do already in some of our processes. So that's under review, and that's going to get updated for us again at our next meeting as well. We meet again here on March the 20th at 6 o'clock.
And so anybody have questions this evening? Hearing none, planning commission. Eric?
Yes, sir. Food report time.
Thank you, sir.
Pay attention, Drew, in case I screw this up.
Oh.
Well, we already know Eric's the smartest man in the room.
Yeah. I'll get him back to that. So, under old business, Drew discussed the comp plan, and he did have a joint meeting with the Lions Club on February 14th. Well received, so I understand. And he also spoke about, he's getting together some population information, and we'll be getting back to the planning commission with some of that information. Again, the subdivision procedures, the final draft, they approved that, the planning commission approved that to come to the mayor and council. The proposed zoning fees, which we already spoke about here this evening, and we have the public hearing on April 8th, 6:30. Under old business, still Fletcher's Grove, the final plans, the final plans for the subdivision parcels for the land swap, that's too much to say. Subdivision parcels for the land swap, waiting on the state highway, according to what I noted. Dean South improvement plans. The plan is approved, but some topics came up in the meeting. One of them was the looping that Tony just spoke of, and I penciled that in to the FY25 budget. And I talked to Drew one day about getting a number maybe from JR, just a ballpark on what that would be. And also there was a discussion about the storm water coming through Canode Circle, that the storm drains are on top of the water line out there. So that was discussed in there. I'm sure Drew's on that topic as well. Under Ricky's favorite subject here, Steve Jameson's term was up. He was there at the meeting, and he indicated that he would like to be renewed. So I'll pass that to the mayor. If you want to do that now, I'll have to.
Is he the only one?
He's the only one.
Looks like they reappoint Steve Jamison to another term with the planning commission. Motion to
5 years.
accept that from the- 5 years?
5 years.
5 years. 5 years.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to reappoint Steve Jamison for 5 years to the planning commission. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries.
So while I'm on a roll here, that's all under old business. Under new business, out of Fletcher's Grove, an LP tank farm. Right now, when you turn off 480, you make the right into, go back to the grocery store, there's 5 1,000-gallon tanks there just on the left. So there was Miss Stacy Silvers in attendance the other night from Hiltz Propane Systems, and also 2 gentlemen from out here, Thompson's. They're going to be replacing those 5 1,000-gallon tanks with an 18,000 underground tank further over toward where the new road is going to come in. So I asked about what the time frame was on that, and they said basically ASAP. So that's moving right along. And the only other thing I noted, the commission has decided to move their meetings from now on to 6 p.m. instead of 7. So that is all I have. What did I miss, Drew?
Nothing, Councilman. In fact, I don't think I need to come to meetings anymore.
I was gonna say the other way around. That's all I had to say.
Thanks. Anybody have any questions there? Hearing none, EDC, right?
All right, excuse me. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. The facade, we talked about this briefly. There's $50,000 available each year for the facade grants. So we, once that's opened up, we're gonna put that out and try to get, this year we want to get some before and after pictures, and we can keep that, to send back, and then make sure we're using it properly. We talked about, well, I talked about the brand package, the economic, center our brand for both economically and culturally. What is Boonesboro, and kind of like, can be a slogan, catchphrase, picture, whatever. What do you think of Boonesboro? So we want to kind of brand the town. I guess what we have now, discover our history, save the romance. I'm not crazy about that, but that's just me. But feel free to contribute to that. So they'll be looking at that, the brand package, and Tiffany and Brian are working on an RFP. There is money available for it from the grant we got from the Rural Maryland Economic Development Organization. Beautification plan, we did discuss, of course, the trees at the park and the circle. We talked about that already when Jared brought it up. Next networking breakfast is going to be here at Town Hall, and it's going to be on the 21st. It's next Thursday, 7:30 to 9. It's about Main Street, Maryland, and we're going to have a teleconference with the person who runs it up in Frostburg. Her name is Deirdre Robertson, and she'll be here and be able to answer questions. Might want to show up if you're curious about Main Street, Maryland. She's going to help us kind of tell us how to get started and what we need to do. Admiral's ribbon cutting is the 21st, that same day at 4 p.m. Please join us for a ribbon cutting. Excuse me, Spring Jubilee will be held on April 27th. It's going to be a street festival this year. They're applying to try to get this road closed during the day. If it doesn't happen, there is a plan B for it, but we'd like to have a street festival. If the town do it, it's our turn. Appalachian Trail Conservancy Board is going to meet here for the first time in the state of Maryland ever. And that's going to be on the 16th of this month.
Saturday.
What's that?
This Saturday.
Yeah, that's Saturday.
And Sunday.
No, it just said the 16th, but they're putting them up. I mean, they're putting them up in Hagerstown, and it's a, it's a big deal. We're on the map now. So, and let's see, what else did I have? I had one more thing. Welcome Center. EDC is working with National Road Heritage Foundation to establish a Boonesboro Welcome Center in the National Road Museum after we get our brand. And the museum and Welcome Center will open in October. That's it.
Very good.
When is the street festival?
That is
27th.
27th, 8 o'clock, I think, like all day thing.
And they're wanting to shut down Main Street.
Yeah.
They're gonna apply.
No, just from the square down to Lakin Avenue. They're gonna send traffic down. Yeah, it's not quite as bad as what we do for Memorial Day. That's the whole.
Yeah. That's 30 an hour and a half.
Living around North one way and South the other.
Yes. Last year they had several vendors that set up in people's yards. And since it was off Main Street, they didn't have that many people that came by. So they got the idea, asked possibility of how to shut Main Street down. And I said, well, it's plain and simple. All you gotta do is contact, get the paperwork off the computer and fill out the paperwork, send it to the state highway. If they give you approval, you can do it. If they don't give you approval.
Middletown
you
does
can't.
it.
I know.
They just.
All the other.
Shepherdstown does it.
Sharpsburg does it when they have their, not like their parade, they have Sharpsburg days and they shut down a block area of Main Street for that. So And the traffic's a lot worse in Sharpsburg than what it is over here. That's main drag from West Virginia.
Aren't they gonna have that Boy Scout thing the same day?
Yes, they are. They're having it that weekend.
Yeah. Because they were concerned, park board was concerned about the beer place. And then I was like, no, they're gonna have the beer place at the museum.
Yeah. Won't be anything in the park for this, the EDC function. All that's gonna be right on Main Street.
That's fine. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
There won't be any alcohol in the park, yeah. Oh, the Boy Scouts down there.
I'm just kidding.
You can, they're looking for some tasters. They can do that same thing where you tasted all their stuff.
Me?
Yeah.
I won't forget.
You want to stay here.
No, I got a Maryland Municipal League Board of Directors at 10 o'clock in Annapolis that morning.
Okay.
So I gotta get out Don early so I can get back for.
Well, you sound like me, I better hide then.
But not the.
No, I'm going to.
No, I will be back in time before so I mean, you should be able to back in. This lasts before, then it lasts before, right?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Anybody have any questions, all right? Hearing none. Environmental Commission, Terry?
Starting this week on, we're gonna be holding our commission meetings on Wednesdays. Let's see, they're still talking about the street sweeping, putting it in the budget. They, Barb Wetzel said to begin in the spring. I guess we're gonna,
If we could ever get Williamsport to tell us how much they want to charge us to do it.
keep that in mind though. She would like us to talk about putting it in the budget.
We'll be glad to put it in the budget if we can get some dollar figures from Williamsport.
They said they wouldn't charge.
I was gonna say that. Well, they did say free, they said they take a donation.
Yeah.
Well, the donation, they didn't specify.
That's not the right way to do it.
No.
Their sign has been ordered for the, for compost, and Kathy Besley applied for a grant for compost bins. I think like $1,200 grant. The Green Fest team, they are gonna be putting out flyers. They like us that go to church or different groups and all we attend, if we could maybe hand out these flyers. It's to let community members know what they do. Maybe I'm hoping to get some more members, I guess. Let's see. Community garden, they've had some registrations come in. Opening day is April 6th, 12 to 1. There's been 34 people requesting info on the farmer's market, and also 9 food trucks. They open May the 7th. That's it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they said their business has really taken off since they moved there. They're visible.
It's more visible.
They know where people see them.
Well, yeah, and it's easier to get in and out there than
It
it is
is.
at the park.
Yeah.
Do they have any flyers, Terry, for the Green Fest? I can hand them out.
Not yet, they're coming up with some.
I'll hand them out.
And I told them you probably would.
I know we talked about it, and I think Jared said he was working on something, but we talked about like, a welcome package to people when they buy a house. And it makes me think about the Palmer neighbor's house.
I thought I saw.
So we have the
folders
are in. Folders are in.
But once, we have to work with.
You know,
a
getting
couple
that kind of
people to
stuff
get
in
that
it.
back.
People know what's going on.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Folder turned out nice. They're down at the museum right now. Yes, sir.
I got a question. I was reading that for the opening for the Great Garden. It says the Greenboro maintenance staff will be tilling up the ground. We don't have to till it.
I told them that. I told them that night. You don't have a tiller.
We have a personal one, but it ain't made for commercial.
Right,
It's not-
exactly.
We'd have to rent one for our skid loaders, so you guys are aware.
They
If they
need,
want us to do it, we can do it, but we're gonna have to rent a pretty big
no, they need to put down a budget
I go
or get a
and install.
donation or something.
one.
I told them we don't have one.
Okay, I just read, I'm just making sure.
They just volunteered to track.
Yeah, if I could. It's,
You can use mine if you want to, if you got to do it. I've got an equipment on a 3-point for a tractor. If it comes to that, let me know. I'll give it to you.
That's like Anybody else have anything come before the town, before the council?
Are you planning on going to the meeting on Saturday?
Yes, I'm gonna be here at 9:00. Yeah. I got, Matilda's email, telling me 9:00. I will be here. I won't be here for the whole meeting, but I'll be there in the beginning of the walk. That's chicken barbecue.
That starts.
It's coming Saturday,
So what time is that?
9:00.
And where is it?
here,
Right here.
right here in the chamber.
I won't be here, Ray. I got Flower Garden show.
I'll do the welcome if you're not gonna be here. If you'll be here, that's good.
I'll be.
You'll do that good.
I'll be there. Yeah. And the time I asked me, and I told her, shorter I'll be here. 9 a.m. sharp.
So I got a question. Somebody remind me, for about the past 2 months, all these meetings we've all been in, I've got quite a list at home of all these budget requests. And all these meetings here this evening and commission reports, I should say. I'm sitting here scribbling stuff down. We got a whole lot of budget requests. And Jared, Tony, and Brian and I have had one meeting for about an hour and a half. We have more requests by far than we have money, so I'm not sure how we're gonna prioritize.
Well, that'll be the next steps. We get all the budget in, then we prioritize and we cut that fat down.
Well, I know for one thing, Greg's got a shop roof on his list, and that's not really just a wish list. I mean, the roof's leaking, and it's an astronomical,
Yeah, that's been like 5 years.
yeah, it's an astronomical cost, but at some point, it's gonna start to ruin the equipment and.
But the roof costs more than the building's worth. So,
Anyway, I've got quite a list for our budget meetings.
I might be able to help you out some with the way the things are going at the police department. We're not going to order a vehicle this year. So that's 40, 50,000, whatever we got in our budget. That, I mean.
Can be reallocated.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a surplus. There's no reason to have another new vehicle down there. We've got 2 of them currently there now. So I mean, you can pretty much plan on that. That's coming back to you.
Are you gonna want that in FY 25?
We will need a vehicle, yeah, next year, but of course, this year, I forget what it is exactly, but I mean, that's like 40 plus.
Well,
Just, so you, I mean, if you know it now, instead of waiting till next month, say, oh, we have this money extra, so. Yeah.
Roof money.
Just so you guys know, we've got a price of $80,000 meter. I said, that's absolutely insane. So I called another company from DC to come down. They come up, they core drill the roof. It's got 3 layers on top of it. That's what it's gonna cost so much. And now it's leaking in, it's getting to the subfloor that's on the top of it. Between, that building's not worth $100,000.
Down at Main Street. Yeah.
It's an old block building that's separated, it's falling apart. You should really have a structural engineer for that look at it. They don't have a basement in it. I mean, but we just keep patching repair. We can only patch and repair so much. We're just Band-Aid is all we're doing. It's built in the early 1900s. It was a car.
That's a story.
Yeah. I'll keep the window for
We're
you.
gonna have some spirited discussions about the budget requests.
That's just make it interesting.
Then we can
Well,
register.
I mean, something to think about too, doesn't the town still own like some property, the old reservoir or things that could be liquidated or?
Yeah.
The old rest.
15 acres,
Yeah, from the mountain up there.
15 acres.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah, Google it. We have a fishing pond up
Yeah,
there.
it's
The reservoir's still there. It's full of water. The kids close the valve off, we open the valve back up. We took the wheel off of it this time, so they can't fill it back up anymore.
Wasn't there a piece like on the Lardy Road?
Yeah, that's the
it.
one we're talking about.
That's it. It's right next to the power line, right away.
It's like this.
Valuable property.
That might, you know.
With no direct access.
You know, I really don't know what, you know, that might not be it, but just, I don't know if there's anything sitting there, you know what I mean, that
It's food for thought.
we don't use or have or.
Just thought about it.
Anything else come before us? Hearing none, I would like to have a motion to go into executive session as provided under General Provisions Article 3-305B88 to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation.
So moved.
Thank you guys for coming. Second. Good luck. Get some rest.
Abstain, motion carries.
See, we're balancing.